What's up guys, my name is TechnoTuner and today I'm bringing to you my live test hands of Clown Crew. While the deck focuses more on the tribute summoning aspect, it does have some really fun aspects that you can utilize with the fusion, synchro, xyz monsters that you're utilizing within the deck's archetype, but you also have that capability of raw sphere moding your opponent for 3, but also being able to get an additional card draw as well. While this deck is very fun, it is a fan favorite where a lot of people enjoy playing this deck as a whole, where Bianca Viso can allow you to tribute during your opponent's turn, or being able to get additional card draws as well. So, I'm going to take it through a couple of hands here where we're going first, and then have a final hand of us going second, just to show you what the deck can really do. Anyways, let's go ahead and hop right into it, and I'll show you what we're working with. Alright guys, let's go ahead and start off with our first hand. We're going to go ahead and see that we draw a Concurse de Cuisine, one Clown Crew Malabarisme, one Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere Mode, one Call by the Grave, and another Concurse de Cuisine Culinary Confrontation. So what we're going to go ahead and do is go draw a standby main. During their main phase, we're going to activate Concurse de Cuisine Culinary Confrontation, choose a Novellas monster. We're going to go ahead and choose that one Novellas from our main deck, which is Poison de Novellas, and the Pastel, which is going to be from our extra deck. And we're going to go ahead and activate the effects here of special summoning the Pastel to our opponent's side in attack position, and the Poison de Novellas in defense position to our board. We're going to activate the effect of Poison de Novellas to add a ritual. In this case, we're going to go ahead and add the Clown Crew Flare. If they do ash us, we have the Call by the Grave for that, which can further hinder them. But we are then next going to go ahead and activate the Clown Crew Flare. We're going to reveal this, then discard one card after we add a Clown Crew card from our deck to our hand. In this case, we're going to go ahead and add the Clown Crew Rehearsal. And we'll discard the other Concurse de Cuisine. We'll next go ahead and activate Clown Crew Rehearsal, being able to tribute off our Poison de Novellas, to then add one Clown Crew Bianca Viso and one Clown Crew Speller Trap. In this case, we're going to go ahead and add the Bianca Viso and the Clown Crew Matinee Operatics. In this case, we've also got the effect of Poisonnaire de Novella since it's been tributed. We'll special summon from, or not special summon it, but place it in our Pendulum Zone since it was tributed this turn. And add to the extra deck. So, what can we do from here? We'll go ahead and activate Clown Crew Matinee Operatics. Special summon Clown Crew monster from our deck or extra deck, ignoring summon conditions. We'll go ahead and do Diabolo, ignoring its summon conditions. Also, until end this turn, cannot activate the effects of monster special summon from the deck or extra deck during the end phase. You can draw cards equal to the number of different card types of monsters tribute this turn, so we have further capabilities. Then we can set one Speller Trap from our hand, so we have even further plays there. Next, we'll go ahead and activate Malabarisme, being able to special summon 2 Clown Crew monsters from our deck and or extra deck, ignoring their summon conditions. So we'll go ahead and summon our Clown Crew Meteor and our Clown Crew Fiends. In this case, we're going to go ahead and then utilize, when we're utilizing the Malabarisme, we can banish, if this, hold on. During your main phase, if this card's in your graveyard except the turn it was sent there, you can banish this card, tribute one monster from your hand or field, then target one card in the field, return it to the hand. So we have that capability as well in the graveyard. But do note that since we have 3 bodies on board, we're going to go ahead and activate the effect of Clown Crew Rehearsal in the grave to banish it to Ritual Summon. We're going to Ritual Summon the Clown Crew Flare by attributing off the Clown Crew Diabolo to summon Clown Crew Flare. Clown Crew Diabolo lets us set one Clown Crew Trap from our deck directly to the board. In this case, we're going to set Clown Crew New Face, being able to give us that additional card draw during our opponent's turn, during their standby phase. Next, we'll go ahead and do our normal summon, which we're going to tribute off. You can tribute off any of these, in which case you would like. But in this case, we're more likely going to be doing Fiends and Flare if you're wanting to go through and change the defense position or the position of a monster. But in this case, now that I think about it, we probably should do Meteor and Fiends to summon the Bianca Viso, where we're going to be able to set a Clown Crew spell from our deck, and then we can target one Clown Crew card in our graveyard except Meteor and add it to our hand. In this case, we're going to go ahead and set a Clown Crew spell. If I'm reading that correctly, yep. From our deck, we're going to go ahead and set that Malabaremise from our deck. And then we're going to go ahead and use Clown Crew Meteor to add back the other Malabaremise. So we have further plays there. We'll go ahead and activate Poison de Niveles' effect. Since we control a ritual monster, we can target one monster in the field, special summon this card, then change that monster's battle position. So we're going to go ahead and target Clown Crew Flare, change its battle position, and special summon out Poison de Niveles, Poisonnaire de Niveles, to give us more bodies on board. Next up, before we do that though, I did miss something here. We tribute summon Clown Crew Bianca Viso using 2 monsters. So we're going to go ahead and draw 2 cards off of that since it was tribute summoned in this case. So we'll go ahead and utilize that effect to draw 2. We get a Preparation of Rites and a Nibiru. And now this is where the Novellas de Poissonnaire would come in handy, because Clown Crew Bianca Viso, if I'm remembering this correctly, it would have to be part of the chain of Meteor, Fiends, and Bianca Viso. So you would do 1 Bianca Viso, 2 you could do Fiends, and then 3 Meteor. So this can further be a good chain blocking moment here to get you the additional card draw. Next up, we'll go ahead and activate that Preparation of Rites, being able to get us another Clown Crew Flare from our deck to our hand. If you're playing the Cyber Angel Ben 10 option, you can do that and get the Cyber Angel Ben 10 to be able to be attributed from your hand as well as another play, but that is another capable card that you can utilize as well. Next, we'll go ahead and set the Call by the Grave. And we have 4 cards in hand, but we get to draw 4 as well, so do note that. So we're going to go ahead and draw at the end step here. We get another Malabarisme, 1 Biru, an Ash Blossom, and a Rehearsal. So we have a decent amount of cards here. We still have to discard down to 6. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and discard 1 Nibiru and 1 Malabarisme, because we can shuffle back the Malabarisme at least for further interaction with our opponent. And then, well, we technically didn't even have to. We could still set the Malabarisme from our hand to our board as well, because we can draw, or we draw then set 1 spell and trap from our hand. So we would just discard the Nibiru at this point. Going to our opponent's standby phase, we'll go ahead and activate that Clown Crew Noon phase, and being able to target back our 3 Clown Crew cards, we'll go ahead and target the 1 Rehearsal, and then the Diabolo and Meteor or Fiends, whichever you choose. We'll shuffle them back into the deck and then draw 1 card. So, going off of this, let's see what our next card would be. It is a Clown Crew Soiree Operations. So we have even further capabilities of setting up board interactions as well. So even if our opponent does special summon up to 2 monsters, we contribute them all for the Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere mode. But we also have the capability of utilizing Nibiru and Ash Blossom in our hand during our opponent's turn as well. So we have a pretty stacked hand, a really good board, and further capabilities nonetheless for further breaking our opponent's board and controlling the board state from here. This deck is still a lot of fun, but let's go ahead and take a look and see what our next going first hand would be. All right, for our next going first hand, let's see what we get. We start off with Concours de Cuisine, Culinary Confrontation, Clown Crew Bianca Viso, Clown Crew Malabarisme, 1 Call by the Grave, and then 1 Preparation of Rites. So we have a good starting hand here. Do note we do have a lot of capabilities here to search our ritual right off rip, and we can either bait that and then use the Call by the Grave, or bait it for a Concours de Cuisine. In this case, I would still start with the Preparation of Rites, allowing us to add the Clown Crew Flare here. And then we'll follow it up with Concours de Cuisine, being able to summon our Poissonnière de Novelis from our deck to our side of the board, and then hand our opponent the Pasticelle de Couverture. I am probably butchering these names, so please forgive me. We'll utilize Poissonnaire's effect to add a Clown Crew Flare. Then we're going to go ahead and reveal one of the Clown Crew Flares to utilize their effect to add a Clown Crew card from deck to hand, in which we'll go ahead and add the Clown Crew Rehearsal, and then discard a Clown Crew Flare. Next, we'll go ahead and activate Clown Crew Rehearsal, tributing the Poissonnière de Novelis to add a Clown Crew Biancaviso and a Clown Crew Spell. In this case, we're going to go ahead and still add the Matinee, Operatics, and then the Biancaviso. Since the Poissonnière de Novelis was distributed, we'll go ahead and place in the Pendulum Zone. And then we'll go ahead and activate the effect of Malabarisme, being able to summon two. We're going to go ahead and summon our Clown Crew Meteor and Clown Crew Fiends. We'll then activate our Clown Crew Matinee Operatics, getting us a Clown Crew Diabolo. Next, we'll go ahead and activate Rehearsal, banishing it to tribute off the Diabolo to summon the Clown Crew Flare, and then Clown Crew Diabolo effect, allowing us to set a trap, which is going to be our Clown Crew New Face from our deck to our board. Next, we'll go ahead and then tribute Fiends and Flare, in this case, to summon Biancaviso and draw two. We're going to chain to that Clown Crew Fiends to set one Clown Crew spell from deck, and then chain Flare to shuffle back all rituals on field and in graveyard. So we'll shuffle these two back into the deck, and then set a spell. In this case, we're going to set a Malabarisme, and then we'll get our draw two, which is a Winged Dragon of Raw and a Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere Mode. Okay. Now, do note you didn't have to use the Poissonnière de Novelis effect until your opponent's turn. Or while Flare was out on board, you could have done that and given you additional body. But in this case, I'm holding off on that because I'm still going to get my draw 4 at this point in time, because I attributed a Ritual, a Fusion, a Synchro, or not a Synchro, a Pendulum, a Ritual, an Exceeds, and a Fusion. So I'll still get my draw 4 at the end step here. We'll hold on to the call by for right now. We'll go to end step and draw 4. We get our Preparation Rites, our Lightning Storm, a Nibiru, and another Winged Dragon Raw Sphere Mode. So, in this case, we're going to go ahead and discard probably the preparation, or we're going to set the Call by the Grave, discard the Lightning Storm, because we're going to be able to break our opponent's board nonetheless, because we have 2 Raw Sphere Mode and a Nibiru. So, we're setting pretty nice here, because during our opponent's turn, when they summon more, we can do the Raw Sphere Mode or the Nibiru and further hinder their board. But we also have the capability of still summoning during their turn to get more monsters on the board for protection as well if needed. Of course, we're going to go ahead and activate that Clown Crew New Face, shuffle back 3. We're going to shuffle back the Malabarisme, the Rehearsal, and the Diabolo here. And our top deck would be an Ash Blossom during our opponent's standby phase as well, which can further hinder them. Well, I wouldn't have, not sure if I would have got the Ash Blossom, but still. We'll see what we get. I'll put it back. Because technically we'd have to shuffle them back, then draw. So we got another Bianca V, so it's perfectly fine nonetheless. So we still have those full board capabilities of still tributing and further hindering our opponent, but we also have a bit of recovery with the preparation rights to get the Clown Crew Flare if we need it. While we are still leaving them with the Pesticell, that's perfectly fine because we contribute during their turn as well off the Bianca Viso effect and still have other cards in which we can work with. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for the going first hands. Let's hop into our final test hand of us going second to see how we can break a board. All right, so let's go ahead and see what our going second hand would be, which is Clown Crew Soiree Operations. One concurs de Cuisine Culinary Confrontation. One Lightning Storm. One concurs de Cuisine again. And one Nibiru. So we have full board capability here of further hindering our opponent because we have the options here to really do it. If our opponent summons over 5 times during their turn, we Nibiru them. If we don't choose to Nibiru them, we can still Lightning Storm. Say they do a lot of back row, we can do Lightning Storm and bait out a Solemn or anything in the back row. If they don't have it, we can still Lightning Storm their back row and give them a monster during their turn, in which, or during our turn, where we start off with Concurs de Cuisine, but we have a good starting hand here nonetheless. Let's go ahead and draw another one and see what our draw for turn would be, and it's the Preparation of Rites. So we're going to go ahead and start this off pretty easily here. We're going to go and start with Lightning Storm. Of course, we're going to say back row in case there are any back row decks. And then we'll go ahead and do the Concurs de Cuisine. Activate the effect to special summon 2. We're going to special summon the Novellas and then hand them the Poisson or the Pastel. So we're going to get the Poisson and then hand them the Pastel. Next, we're going to activate the effect of Poisson de Novellas, adding us a Clown Crew Flare. From here, we have further capability here where we can either add another Clown Crew Flare or we can do other things. But in this starting phase, what we're going to do is go ahead and do Clown Crew Flare effect, add a Clown Crew card, which will be the Rehearsal, and then discard a card, in which is going to be the other Concurs de Cuisine. We'll next, of course, activate the effect of Rehearsal, tribute 1 monster, which is going to be the Novellas, add a Bianca Viso, and instead of doing the Matinee Operatics, I'm going to do the Malabarisme. And you'll see as to why here in a second. So, we'll activate the Malabarisme. Well, after we go through and do the Poisonere de Novellas, placing in the Pendulum Zone, we'll activate the Clown Crew Malabarisme, being able to summon the Clown Crew Fiends and then the Clown Crew Diabolo. We will then go ahead and we can either choose to Ritual Summon the Clown Crew Flare here, or we can tribute both off and go into the Bianca Viso. In this case, the best option would probably be start off with the Clown Crew Rehearsal, banishing it to tribute off the Diabolo, to summon the Clown Crew Flare, Diabolo effect to set a Clown Crew Trap. This is where we're going to set our Clown Crew New Face. Then we'll go ahead and summon Bianca Viso, attributing both of these two, getting our spell set, and we can bounce back all the rituals if we want, or change the battle position and flip a monster face down if we need to with Flare. At this point, we'll go ahead and activate Bianca Viso as Chainlink 1, Fiends as 2, Flare as 3, Flare to shuffle back, Fiends to set. We're going to set Matinee Operatics. Matinee Operatics. And then we'll draw 2. Which is a raw sphere mode, and another Clown Crew Flare. We'll go ahead and activate that Matinee Operatics. Use the effect to summon out a Clown Crew Meteor. Now, do note that you could have had the Poisonaire de Novellas out on the board if you wanted to, as well as another capability. I'm holding it in the Pendulum Zone for right now because I can use it for an extender next turn if I need to. In this case, we're going to go ahead and then set our Clown Crew Soiree Operatics. We're going to assume our opponent has at least 3 monsters, including the Pastel now. And then we're going to utilize... we can tribute summon it during our opponent's turn, but we already drew the 2 off of Clown Crew Biancaviso, so we can't utilize that effect. And we can't utilize the tribute effect until our opponent's main phase. So right now, what we're going to do instead is go battle phase, swing over the Poisonaire, or past the cell. We'll place it in our extra deck face up. Do it this way. If this card in the Monster Zone is destroyed, you can place this card in your Pendulum Zone. So we'll go ahead and place it in our Pendulum Zone over here. You don't have to. You can in this point. Just do know that in case that does come up. But this does let us Pendulum Summon anything between 1 and 8, so we could Pendulum Summon out another Biancaviso if we needed to. Do note that we do have other options here as well for further hindering our opponent. But right now we're going to go to end phase, and we're going to draw our 4 because we tributed a Pendulum, a Ritual, a Fusion, and an Xyz. But that's if we really want to, because we do have a full board at this point, so we won't be able to set another unless you didn't use the Pass the Cell de Converture effect to place in the back row. Now, if we do draw off our 4, something that we can utilize, we'll go ahead and discard 1 Preparation of Rites and another Malabarisme, because we do have the option here during our opponent's standby phase of activating Clown Crew New Face, shuffling back 3 Clown Crew cards, which is going to be 1 Malabarisme, 1 Rehearsal, and 1 Diabolo. So we'll shuffle them back and draw 1 card. Which is a Rehearsal, which is perfectly fine because we still do have the Nibiru for our opponent's turn, but we can also raw sphere mode them off of Clown Crew Biancaviso if we need to. Then if our opponent wants to activate anything funny, we can special summon the 2 Clown Crew monsters from our deck and or extra deck, or add a Clown Crew card from our deck, or Clown Crew monster from our deck to our hand. In other words, we can get another Biancaviso if we need to. But the funnier case here would be just to summon 2 more, and then we Nibiru. During their turn, we get a draw of a Synchro, an Xyz, a Fusion, plus any of their monsters, if they have a Ritual or Link or Pendulum. Ritual, Link, Pendulum as well. So that can get us potentially up to 6, depending on what decks you are going against. But you do have that fun board capability for next turn to still go into Winged Dragon or Raw to swing for 4K, because if you say your opponent has 3 monsters, they're getting ready to go to battle phase. During the end of main phase, you raw sphere mode them. You hand them the globe. During the end step, sphere mode comes back to you. You can then go to your draw phase, stand by, tribute off. I think it's a standby phase. So not even a standby. So you have to wait till your main phase, tribute this off, and then summon a Winged Dragon of Raw during your opponent, or during our next turn at 4K attack as well. And it's just incredibly funny because if you're able to do that, you get to say you at least got to summon a Egyptian god against your opponent. Nonetheless, you still had a lot of good capability here to further break your opponent's board, and it's still going on if you haven't been able to finish and seal out the game. Either way, guys, that's all I have for this one. Let's go ahead and hop into the last bit of a review for the deck, and I'll go over some of the pros and cons of the deck. All right, so the deck in review. What's really good about this deck? Well, one, you're utilizing Tribute Something in a new fashion. You can tribute during your opponent's turn and tribute their monsters for a Winged Dragon or Raw Sphere mode, basically turning it now into a hand trap. You can utilize your actual Novellas card to get your combo started, but there's multiple facets in which you can get your combo started by getting to Clone Crew Flare or another spell in which you can start your combo that way. Being able to tribute your monsters now or extra deck monsters gets you actual card advantage. Being able to draw into hand traps or continuations or extenders can really further help set up your board. What's the downside? The downside of this deck is that you are very stuck on hoping to tribute monsters. So if you go against something that can't be tributed, or Mask of Restrict, or anything like that, or basically if your cards get banished before they hit the graveyard, it can hurt you a lot. Any kind of board removal outside of tributing can really hurt this deck in a lot of capabilities. While you have an immense amount of recursion through their shuffle back effects and being able to get some immense card draw, you do have the downfall of if they pop your Clown Crew new face, you don't have a way to recur back resources as much as you would like. That's meaning basically your spells and traps in order to do so. Being able to utilize things such as Preparation of Rites, Vanity's Emperor, Cyrangel Ben 10, Winged Dragon of Raw Sphere Mode, and Winged Dragon of Raw are very helpful nonetheless in this deck, but it can still feel a bit clunky from time to time, depending on the hand. While this deck does an immense job at fixing the Tribute Summon mechanic outside of what Monarchs has, it feels a lot more fresh, and honestly, it's a lot more fun to play than most people would expect. Even during these test hands while I was still going through and learning new things about the deck that I didn't experience in most other duels, this deck is still extremely fun to play nonetheless. While the deck is a bit pricey for some of the newer players because Bianca Viso is a $5 super rare right now and going up, it's still a very fun deck nonetheless because you can utilize other engines as well, such as Mitsurugi from the legendary decks, or you can utilize Novellas or other cards in which you can work with into this deck to make it fit more your playstyle. I had one friend that was running Soul Exchange or Spell Card Soul Exchange and VIP Whale, as well as another way to step an Omni Negate with board removal. While this deck is very malleable, it does have its downfalls, but I wouldn't discourage anyone from really picking up this deck and having fun with it. I've had the most fun with a Tribute Summon deck since True Draco when it first released, but this deck has really kind of hit all the bases for me to where I really do love this deck. But anyways, guys, that's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.